Hi, this is Mark from LongIslandWatch.com. We've all heard it. Seiko is getting too expensive. They aren't the value they once were. I could buy a better watch with better specs for less money. These are comments that people put in my YouTube videos, on all other YouTube videos that have to do with watches, Seiko watches in particular. It's discussed on forums such as Reddit or Watch Crunch or Watch You Seek or wherever. And I'm here to, I guess, kind of discuss that because as a Seiko authorized retailer, as an online vendor as well, I see obviously both sides, and I want to come to you with three different ways of saying how I don't think any of that is true. I think there's other forces at play that perhaps make it look like they're not the value they once were, and I want to delineate all those to you. And if at the end you say, Mark, you are full of poop, that's fine. Put it in the comments. Tell me, hey, this is why you're wrong. But I've gone through this methodically, and I feel like it's not true. I don't feel like they are sky high. Again, in the context of what I'm going to discuss with you. I'm wearing this wrist, my Seiko Sarb 033, a watch that, yeah, if they made today, it would probably be close to $1,000 watch, I'm guessing, $800 or $900. And you know, I used to sell these for $3 and change. My first point is from the low 2000s, around 2000, kind of like when I started the business, but you know, picked up in force like 2003, 2004, even through today. The gray market is extremely prevalent, and not just watches, in every industry, electronics especially. What is the gray market? Well, the gray market is the parallel import business. There's a distributor or a vendor in another country. They have overstock on certain products. In this case, we're talking about watches. They're overstock on watches. And they decide to ship all those watches to the USA, and then non-authorized vendors can get those watches and sell them for whatever price they want. So the price you bought a Seiko for from a non-authorized retailer in 2005 was definitely sold well below MSRP, the sticker on the box. So the watch that should have been sold at $400 or $450, you might have bought for $300 or $200 or whatever. You walked into a true store, a Macy's, because that's what's prevalent around me, and you walked up to the Seiko counter, you saw a nice watch, you looked at the price, you went online, you bought it for much, much less. So what's the deal with pricing on watches? Or again, this really applies to almost any industry. In the US, price fixing is illegal. A manufacturer or distributor cannot say, hey, everyone needs to sell an item, I'm not gonna say a watch because it can be anything, an item at X price, whatever, $200. Well, that's illegal, they can't say that. But what they can say is we suggest you sell it for this amount of money. And if you don't, we just won't sell it to you. So they're not forcing you to. You can get all the product and sell it for less, but then they can just decide, hey, we're not gonna sell to you anymore. And that's the end of that. That is called minimum advertised price. And that started, those policies kind of started in the mid-2000s or so when gray market really started to take shape, especially due to the online community and online shopping exploding. So the Seiko that 20 years ago had $495 on the box or $450 on the box, nobody was paying that amount of money. It was devalued. There was I don't want to say artificial. It was a true lowering of the price. The price of a good is what we all agree it's worth. I don't care what the sticker says. The sticker says $495, but me and my 5 friends are all buying them for $300. It is a $300 watch. And this is kind of mistake number one that people play into. Over the last few years, and again, Seiko, not the only company and not the only industry, manufacturers have been cracking down on the gray market to a real big extent. Ghost buys, all this other stuff, researching where products come from, and eliminating the gray market vendoring at the source. So for that, Seiko prices are not as prevalent at the gray market prices. They still are out there, believe me. I'm no schmo. I see it. I know the store's doing it. I know who they are. But they're not authorized retailers. The authorized retailer is holding it at a certain line. The gray market is not. So you're seeing less and less of the gray market pricing. Thus, you feel Seiko prices have gone up in the last few years, but they haven't. Just the gray market has been sliced. Number two, this is an interesting one. Inflation. It happens. We're all looking at yesteryear. We're looking at, oh, it was so much better 20 years ago or whatever. Everything was, the watch was this much money, my TV was this much money, whatever it may be. So I took two examples of two watches to see what inflation has done to the price over the years. I have my notes sticking to a light over here. First watch I'm going to talk about is the all-popular, venerable, sold around the world, though we're just talking about Seiko USA here for the most part, because that's where I am. The SNK 809K2. 809, 805, 803, 807, different colors. But it's that little 36 millimeter military watch that we just started making a bracelet for. That watch was released in the early 2000s. I couldn't get a date nailed down, but around 2002, 2003 or so is, from what I can tell, is when we started selling it here in the States. Might be a little bit earlier, definitely not later, but it doesn't matter for this purpose. That box, that watch on the box, $185 price tag since day one. Now, this is the same watch that was available on Amazon 6, 7, 8 years ago for 60-something bucks. Maybe it's 10 years ago, whatever. Time seems to go faster and faster lately. But the box said 185, but thanks to the gray market, that price was slashed into the 60s. But please, accept with me, if you will, that when that watch came out, Seiko, selling it in stores, was a $185 watch. If you take the U.S. economy and you go, there's little calculators online, I used one obviously, and you go from the 2003-ish or so to 2024, $185 back then is worth about $315 today in 2024. So I said, hey, okay, great. Let's look at a new Seiko release, kind of a similar watch, 36 millimeter fieldy watch, automatic, hard wax crystal, etc. Well, guess what? We have one. The SRP-J83 is a great example, and it sells its retail MSRP is $295. So what I'm saying is the value of the SNK 809 today should be about $315. I'm telling you, Seiko just came out with a watch that pretty much mirrors everything that that watch had, and the retail was $295. Street price for the watch will be a little bit less. Street price and gray market, totally different things. Street prices, after a watch is out for a while, there's small discounts that are allowed. But what I'm telling you is that the retail price that is today is very much in line with what it should be for a watch that came out 20 years ago. So okay, let's come up a little more modern. Let's come, not something that was released 20 years ago. Let's go to the SRP 777. This is the Seiko Turtle re-release. This is the original Turtle. They came out with the SRP 773, 775, 777, 779, and the 777 was the black dial, the only one of the original four that's still in production. You now call it the SRP E93 because they went through an ISO change, case back marking, and a little loom dot, but SRP 777 released in 2016. Retail price, $495. Sticker on the box, tag on the watch. $495. So let's look at what $495 in 2016 is worth today in 2024. And you're going to get, I'm going to go back to 2023. I can't go to 24, and I'll tell you why in a second. So from 2016 to 2023, we're looking at the $495 watch is now worth $627. So why 2023? Well, there was a watch released last year, another Turtle. I just did a video on it, the SRP H55. Not apples to apples, I'm going to tell you why. The SRP H55 comes on a bracelet. It has a ceramic bezel insert and a sapphire crystal. The SRP H55, 57, 59 retail for $750 MSRP. Again, not street price. MSRP is $750. So we have to get from $627 perceived value to $750 on the box. And by adding a bracelet, a sapphire crystal, and a ceramic bezel insert, you easily eclipse $100. We sell the bracelet alone, the Seiko made bracelet, the MOEV, whatever, for like $119. So you're adding in a bracelet, a sapphire crystal, again, and a ceramic insert. You can easily get $750 or over. So I believe that the $750 that they're selling these king turtles for is in line with when the original turtle came out in 2016, 8 years ago. Doesn't seem to be too expensive anymore. I did try to go back and look at the SKX 173, which is the USA version of the 007, but I can't get a firm release date on it. It certainly did not come out when the 007 came out in the mid-90s. It came out a decent amount of time after. And also the retail on the 173 has changed from like $425 to $450, etc. Plus, it's a far back one. I want to do more of a modern one because when the original turtle came out in 2016, people weren't hemming and hawing about the price. They just love gaga with the watch. So that was number two. So number one, the gray market has been cut. Number two, it's inflation. Get with the times. Prices are going to go up, and satisfactorily enough, it fits the equation. Number three, and this is the one maybe that more people key into, and I am very guilty of it. Here's the comment. Why should I buy the Seiko when I can get an Islander, a San Martin, a Zelos, put in your micro brand, a Pagani, whatever, and they're going to offer me ceramic, sapphire, and it's going to be less money. I agree with you. This is totally true. What's going on there? Well, it's the whole, and I hate to say it, but it's true, eliminate the middleman mentality. That's one factor there. There's no distributor, so there's less price increase happening. But larger than that, the bigger truth is that we are small companies. San Martin, Islander, Zelos, whoever else you want to throw into Steel Dive, Addies, I don't know, all these names that I see popping up when people are, commenting. All small companies. So yeah, we can offer things cheaper, better. Exactly, but you know what we can offer you? We can offer you heritage. We can offer you worldwide distribution through a whole circuit and network of dealers. A whole support center, because we don't have to, because we're not selling that many watches. Things scale, but sales scale, but so do costs. And the costs scale a hell of a lot faster. You want to sell Islander in stores all over. So I thought about this, a little thought experiment. What if Islander wanted to be like Seiko? We're not. My yearly production rate of watches, whatever quantity I make, is what Seiko might do on one automatic wristwatch in a year, on one SKU. That's all my production, whatever it might be, 8,000, 10,000 units. That's insane. So think about it. Now, if Islander wanted to expand their reach and production and everything, I need to hire distributors. I would, right? I need service centers. I need salesmen. I need to pay commission. I got a hell of a lot more benefits. Well, now I got a lot of people. I got HR to deal with. I got a hell of a lot more payroll to deal with, meaning just the whole logistics of payroll. You have all this stuff, all this overhead that now comes in, and the nut that you have to crack to make profit gets bigger and bigger the larger you get. So brands like me, I sneak by. I don't have all those costs. I can offer the product without the middleman in the middle for a hell of a lot cheaper. And that, I think, is maybe where most of the people's arguments come from. Seiko has gotten too expensive for what they offer because I can buy XYZ for less money. And that's my third point. So ready? Number one was gray market is gone. Number two, it's inflation, get with the times. And number three is micro brands have taken over and made things, a lot cheaper than they should be. Stop 10 people in the street and ask them if they've heard of Seiko. I think 9 of them will say yes. Or Citizen, 9 of them will say yes. Probably 10. You ask how many of them have heard of Islander. I could walk outside my building and stop 10 people walking the street. And I guarantee you, they have never heard of it. That's it. It costs money. I feel like I missed an opportunity to tie this up with a nice ribbon. So for example, right, the latest SRPH 55 watch comes out. Number one, going through the whole thing we just did, the gray market for it has diminished. So you will be less likely to find it at much, much lower than either retail or the authorized dealer selling price. Price seems higher. Number two, it's in line, as I showed you, with what a Turtle was selling for roughly 8 to 10 years ago with upgrades. And number three, yeah, you could get an Islander or another micro brand for far less money. So I get it. But due to 1, 2, and 3, I still maintain that Seiko has not gotten too big for their britches or much more expensive than they used to be. This has been Mark from LongIslandWatch.com telling you why I do not feel that Seiko prices have gone up. It is more of a perception and other market pressures that are at play. Please like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not done so. Put your feedback down below. Am I full of it? Do you agree with me? Whatever. I'll address it. I'll read it. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.